Okay, now it's...
Good morning, I'm Adam Letchmere, editor of Decanter.com.
And Adam, when was the first moment you realised you were an editor?
When did I realise I was an editor? I think the realisation came home most forcibly when I realised that I had to take responsibility for something that wasn't my fault. I was on holiday one summer, and while I was on holiday we ran a story about an eminent consultant winemaker, a man of prestige and tremendous influence, and we suggested that he'd left one of his properties, or he had left one of his properties, one of his jobs. We suggested it was more a question of push rather than jump. As a result of that, I had to endure long minutes of very, very aggressive questioning and vituperation from this man, and we've since buried the hatchet and all's fine now. But what came home to me was the realisation that I had to endure this, stick up for my staff, take responsibility and not lose my temper. I think that's when you realise that you are responsible and you don't give in to the luxury of losing your temper on the phone.
I'm Paul Morgan, editor of Rugby World magazine.
And Paul, when was your moment of realisation that you were an editor?
Well, I think it was to the either disappointment or delight of my wife when I had to have my mobile phone next to our bed through the night one night, so both our New Zealand and Australian correspondents could text me to tell me they'd filed their copy, because I knew if they were late again, the magazine wouldn't come out with their stories in it. So I think that was the time, and I don't know whether it was through the delight or disappointment of my wife, but basically being, the knowledge that my job is 24 hours a day.
My name's Mark Hedges and I'm the editor-in-chief of Country Life magazine.
And when was your moment, Mark, when you realised you were an editor for the first time?
Well, after sort of about a week of taking over Country Life, I was rung up by Condé Nast, and they wanted to know the rules to strip Country Life. The trouble with taking on a magazine with so much heritage, there's so much to learn, and it had passed me by what the rules were to strip Country Life. It turns out that what you do is that you guess the price of the house, and if you're out by more than £100,000, you take off an item of clothing. And this is all the rage in Condé Nast, and bearing in mind the few clothes they wear, I should think even in one of our thinner issues they end up naked.
Now.
Hi, I'm Marion. I'm the editor of Prediction magazine.
And Marion, when was the moment you realised you were an editor for the first time?
The first time I really felt I was the editor, I had to write my editorial for the first month in the magazine, and I realised that thousands of people were actually going to read it and pay attention to it, which was slightly scary. And then I suppose getting letters addressed to me, that was quite exciting as well, so that was it.
Hi, I'm Martin Daubney, editor of Loaded, and I think I first realised that I was an editor when we did this stunt called Operation Feed Blaine. It's when we flew a helicopter with McDonald's burgers up to David Blaine's Perspex box at Tower Bridge. And my boss at the time, Andrew Sumner, said to me, if the helicopter goes down, anybody gets injured, you're sacked. And I thought, shit, there's nobody to blame anymore. When you're the editor, the buck stops with you, and that's a little bit scary. 2 weeks in, so I would have got fined. The helicopter did go down, but it missed people, so I'm still here.
So the whole stage had stopped.
Okay. Hello, I'm Suzanne Imrie. I'm the editor of Living, etc.
And when was the moment, Suzanne, that you realised you were an editor for the first time?
It was about 4 years into the job when I finally plucked up courage to ask what RFO, RF1, RF anything meant.